Welcome to Newsworthy Stories with Jacqueline Jimenez. I have several news stories to share with you today, including how the Healing Arts Institute made history at the Unmasked Gala. The Healing Arts Institute making history at its Unmasked Gala. For the first time, a student graduating from its institute with a PhD.
Today was my graduation from the Clinical Sexology PhD program with Healing Arts Institute of South Florida International. And my experience with them, they were a program that helped support my dreams. So I got a chance to go through my dissertation process with this program with Dr. Tenney and Dr. Deb on my committee. And I'm just so happy that today is finally here. It was a long road, but with the support of everybody, I made it through to this point.
So we produced our first PhD graduate. So with that, that means we can now apply for accreditation to start receiving federal funds for our doctorate programs.
The Unmasked Gala helps raise awareness and funding for the nonprofit to provide no-cost mental health services throughout the year. This event bringing attention to the need for mental health services among first responders.
As a therapist in a managerial role, I don't collect statistics, I don't write research papers, I listen. I listen to first responders every day tell me about their experiences and how it may impact both their physical and mental health. High-stress situations, repeated exposure to traumatic events, and the pressure to maintain a strong exterior. But there was this constant emphasis that first responders experience mental health symptoms at a higher profound rate than the general population. So, that saying, not all heroes wear capes, is definitely true. But I have to ask, how many of those heroes are simply wearing masks?
It's very important to understand that when we go through those traumatic incidents, because keep in mind, we're showing up to individuals' homes during the worst possible times of their lives, to include dealing with the death of a loved one. And that's something that we've learned as first responders, it sticks with us. We go home, we think it's done, but I can tell you personally, 5 to 6 months after an incident, especially with losing a child, that child flashes back in my head. And every child that I've experienced a death with at work, I've never forgotten their face. I've never forgotten how I felt. And I'm 19 years in this career. So understanding what that is PTSD. That is trauma I experienced, and I need to understand how to cope with that in terms of thrive with it, because I love my job. So how do I keep doing a job knowing that it causes those types of traumas? I do that by talking, by opening up and understanding that there are other first responders and individuals who's going through the same thing I'm going through. It is natural. It's okay to sometimes be scared. It's okay to sometimes just have those flashbacks, understanding that it caused me trauma. And that's how I heal.
The pressures of balancing work and life impact virtually every industry.
Lawyers do have a lot of stress, and there are lawyers who probably kept things more hidden and not wanting to express them. And I think that the more we have organizations like this that show that it's great, it's okay to express yourself, lawyers feel comfortable to come out and express whatever they're dealing with as well. And I think when we're representing other people and we're trying to help other people, it's important that everybody be able to feel comfortable and that we could express whatever it is and not be ashamed of whatever conditions that people might be suffering from, and to talk about people's depression or anxiety or whatever the issues may be. And I feel very comfortable, and when clients share with me, and I feel privileged to be a part of helping them. We should, as a society, be tolerant and understanding of other people with all kinds of vulnerabilities.
The Healing Arts Institute was founded after Dr. Tenney's son, Carter Bonus, was diagnosed with autism and ultimately needed mental health services. His therapy gave him the confidence to start his own line of golf apparel called Spectrum Golf, and later becoming Sports Illustrated Sports Kid of the Year and so much more.
I've had a great experience with the healing arts. I'm currently, like I said, as a client. My children also are clients of the healing arts, so it's been very good. We're seeking family therapy, and it's been very helpful. We're doing our weekly sessions. I get to learn a lot about my children, and in the process, I'm also getting to learn about myself as well. So very grateful.
Like in Akila's case, Healing Arts has primarily focused on the needs of children and their families, but now they have an opportunity to focus on the needs of adults too.
Opening up a new program for adult therapy, where we will be providing free adult therapy services, as opposed to, in the past, we've only been providing that to children and the families associated with those children. Most of us are family therapists, and we work from the perspective of how the systems work. So we're not just looking to diagnose and provide maybe a depression or anxiety diagnosis, but we're understanding how you got to that point before that diagnosis. You know, sometimes there's a history of trauma or poverty or abuse, that it's not just depression. You have some stuff underneath all of that we have to take a look at.
We don't turn anyone away regardless of their ability to pay or not. Our therapists do pro bono work for individuals, as well as we accept insurance and have grant funding. But this money really helps us to bridge the gap between those who are in between, who have insurance and don't.
Be a part of Healing Arts Institute. You can donate to provide free services to the hundreds of families Healing Arts is helping in South Florida. You can also give monthly, be a sponsor, or notify them of a grant opportunity. Healing Arts welcomes your support. For more information, go to healingartssfl.org. That's healingartssfl.org. Again, I just want to reiterate, all donations matter, right? Even if it's $5, $10, $20 a month, the Healing Arts Institute really welcomes your support. And if we do it as a community, it will really add up. Now, I've been talking to you about how the ICABA World Network is holding its global kickoff of Black Professionals Month. And I shared some stories with you, but now I want you to hear from more speakers and more ways people were collaborating. We're now hearing more from the speakers and collaborators at ICABA World Network's global kickoff of Black Professionals Month in Atlanta, plus a look at what's coming next.
Are you the person that people call to make things happen? Or do you make the call? And is the call and the connection and the community and the collaboration powerful enough to take you 25, 30 years down the road? When the person sees you, they say, oh, you don't even have to call anymore. You can text me. Whatever you need, I got you. Because the community, the collaboration, and the connection was so good and deep 20-something years ago, I still got you.
My name is Melvin Coleman. I'm the president and CEO of the Atlanta Black Chamber. I want you to know that right now, today, this is the most powerful room you could be in. Because you're here. But let me tell you who you're here with. I'm going to shout out some people in the room that some of you don't know. But before we walk out on the Peachtree Bridge space, I want you to know that my main man, the Network King, Atlanta's very own, Corey, the Network King Moore, is in the room. He's honoring that title. So if you don't know Corey, please make that happen. Now, I know many of you are familiar with Eventbrite, but we got something way better than Eventbrite. I'm not even going to call it a black-owned Eventbrite. Preston, VIP Socio, this brother owns a platform where you can do events. My main man, Imari Oliver. Imari said something to me. And I made Hart 2 years ago, he said something to me in conversation. He said, Melvin, we're living in a time, brother, where the winners and losers have not yet been chosen. You talk about AI and technology, talk to my brother.
What are you working on? What are you sharing with one another?
Well, first of all, when I had a chance to meet this brother right here, he has just blown me away with the things that he has done, the innovation. I heard the comments even during the meeting, which piqued my interest on technology. But when I'm talking to him now, I see how brilliant this guy is and how amazing he is, and it just I'm excited about what it could lead to.
So what I'm building here is I'm building Entrepreneur City and our global enterprise business incubator. And me is partners, because I can't do it all alone. So my thing is, who can you bring in to help scale what we're doing on a global level? And when I saw that, what he was doing in Pittsburgh, and I was like,
Members of the Atlanta Black Chambers showing up in support, along with the president and CEO of the National Black MBA Association.
Super excited to be with you, and the National Black MBA Association is exactly doing that. We are super excited, 12,000 plus members, 34 chapters across the country. Just finished our 46th annual conference in Washington, D.C. last week, where we had 9,000 people, 250 corporations, everybody looking for a job, looking to connect, collaborate, build community. It's just an important thing that we need.
If we do nothing else but connect and begin to collaborate, we won. Okay? We won. Because I know everybody in this room has been in a room with other accomplished people. And when you walked out of that room, you were better off than you were when you walked in, because you met somebody that you could provide some value to. So I was going to say something else there. But you could provide some value to. And in return, because of the way the God we serve works, that value comes back.
I just want to give you an update that also the AMPS Institute's Youth Entrepreneurship Retreat scheduled in Alabama, well, that registration is closed. 378 applicants, only 25 were chosen. Now, this is a partnership between the AMPS Institute and the USDA Natural Resources Conservation Service. And what they do is generate interest in the field of agriculture and conservation. Myself included, over the last 2 years, have had the opportunity to cover the stories and the retreats in the U.S. Virgin Islands and in parts of Puerto Rico. And so now we're going to Alabama, but that's not going to be our last stop. So make sure you're following the AMPS Institute. Make sure you're following newsworthy stories so you'll know what's going to happen in Alabama, but now where we're going after that, right? I tell you, the field of agriculture and conservation, I wish I had known about it. Granted, no complaints. I have loved my career in the media, but what an amazing opportunity in agriculture and conservation. So if you're a student who's undecided, not sure what to do, when these retreats roll past through your city, or even close to it, make sure you reach out to ampsinstitute.com, ampsinstitute.com, and find out, how do I get in contact with USDA Natural Resources Conservation Service? How can I learn about careers in agriculture and conservation? You will be so surprised. It literally touches practically every industry. Every industry. Oh gosh, I could go on and on. Anyways, I can't wait to bring you those stories. Thanks for watching Newsworthy Stories with Jacqueline Jimenez.